Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Universes Academy podcast. I'm your host, John Jennings. We have a little bit of a special episode today. We reached out to some of our content creator friends and some older players or player in the game, and got together and we decided we would have a draft for a fantasy style league with MHA. So we had 5 people come up, and they each took turns over 7 rounds drafting characters to create their team. And so what we're going to do is over the next 4 events, we're going to track points, and at the end, we'll see who comes out on the top with bragging rights. So that's going to be our episode today. Just to give you a quick breakdown of how the scoring works. So if a character selected makes a top 16, that is worth 3 points for that character and for that player's team. If they make a top 8, that's worth 4. If they make a top 4, that's worth 5. If they make the final 2, that's worth 6 points. And if your character wins, that's worth 8 points for your team. And to throw a little bit of extra something in there, we are giving a one-time bonus for a character if they make a top cut equal to the round they were selected. So, I'll give you a little peek behind the curtain. We did a little test run of this for the last 2 events. And, of course, I won, naturally. I picked, in the 7th round, I took Cementos. Well, in the last event, Cementos made a top cuts. So that was an extra 7 points for my team just because I took a shot on him in the 7th round. But yeah, so that's our episode today. Hope you guys enjoy it. As the weeks go by and the points come out, and obviously as the events are finished up, we'll give you guys updates so you can kind of see where everyone is. Be sure in the comments to let us know who you think has the best team or who made really wild picks. And be on the lookout for some crazy picks in here. It gets a little crazy. It's pretty spicy. Hope you guys enjoy. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Universes Academy podcast. I am your host, John Jennings, here with about 1 billion co-hosts going on today because we got a very special event. This is the first annual, I won't say annual because we're going to do a bunch of these probably. This is the first of our official Fantasy League character drafts for the My Hero Academia card game. So if you're familiar with fantasy football, fantasy baseball at all, this is kind of what we're going to do. We're going to draft characters and keep score throughout rankings or finishings and provisionals and regionals. And then at the end, we'll count up the points, and whoever is atop the scoreboard gets the bragging rights. So we have 5 drafters.
That's right. We weren't playing for anything. Now we're playing for bragging rights? Oh,
bragging rights, shit talking. Come on. Look.
I'm not good at either of that.
Yeah. That's real believable, Chris. But we do have 5 teams. We have Mr. Andrew Holder from GoBeyondGaming. We have Mr. Chris Smith from Universes Academy. We have Tim Keefe or Satonis. And we have Mr. Ryan Kraft, also from Universes Academy. And introducing to some of the new players, maybe not some of you old heads, Mr. Dave Wagoner.
Hey, guys.
Yeah, Dave, tell us a little about yourself real quick. Some of the reviewers may not be familiar with you. This is their first time appearing on here. Just kind of your background, any titles or cards you may have won.
Sure. So I'm Dave Wagoner. I'm active on a lot of the UFS discords as Wintermute. And I've been playing UFS competitively pretty much, or I guess UFS Universes, My Hero, whatever it's turned into at this point, pretty much since the game launched. I started with set 1 and 2 back in the Sabretooth days, and we've had a pretty competitive play group in the Atlanta area basically almost ever since, with a couple little breaks here and there in between. I've won some stuff. I've got a character card. I don't even remember what nationals it was, like 2014 or so. Me and other noted UFS head Phil Birch and Ben Shoemaker have won teams a number of times. And me, Ben, and my old buddy Drew Maffei, who no longer really plays the game, also won teams a couple of times as well. I've won Legacy. And I jumped in with My Hero a little bit during set 1. And then the pandemic kind of just crushed everything locally. Mm-hmm. And my work situation became pretty prohibitive to be playing on the weekends, unfortunately. But I'm back for set 2, and I'm kind of coming late in set 2. So I've been playing a little bit of catch up and kind of learning where the meta sits and just diving back in head first. And it's been a lot of fun. So this will be exciting. I'll bring some old forbidden knowledge to this kind of newer version of the game and see if that still holds water pretty much. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you coming on, man.
yeah, for sure.
So
I've known a lot of these guys currently on screens for quite a while.
Yeah.
So it's good to see some familiar faces and some new guys too. It's exciting seeing how huge the community's gotten in the last couple of years. It's been really fun to watch.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah. It's crazy how it's exploded.
yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah. But just to give the listeners a little rundown real quick. So they are going to take turns drafting. We're going to have a snake draft. So we'll do 7 rounds. So we'll go 1 through 5. Then the next round will be 5 back to 1 and so on until we get to the end. Scoring works as follows. If you make a top cut, if one of your characters makes a top cut, that's worth 3 points. If they make a top 16, I should say. Top 16 is worth 3 points. Top 8 is worth 4. Top 4 is worth 5. Top 2 is worth 6. And if your character wins, that is worth 8 points. And we're going to do this over 4 events. I believe it's 2 provisionals and 2 regionals, or is it
2 online provisionals? The in-person Rochester provisional on October 1st, and the Pasadena regional.
There you go.
Yeah, and
go ahead.
specifically those 4 events, rather than trying to. We expect all those events to be reasonably sized, so we'll just do those 4 events instead of parsing out player count sorts of things, unless 20 people show up to Rochester, in which case we'll be very sad. Please come.
yes. Please go to Rochester, or not Rochester. I say Rochester. I was looking at Chris.
Yes.
Sorry. Go to. Oh, it is. Sorry,
It is
Chris
Rochester.
Rockford. Losing my mind. It's a long day. Had to work from home. Cranky 18-month-old all day. It was rough. We do also award bonus points here because, much like Mario Party, bonus points are fun. And if you draft a character in the first round and that character makes a top cuts, hopefully you spend your first round draft pick on a character who will make top cuts. That will award you a one-time bonus point equal to 1 point because that's the round you drafted them in, and so on and so forth. So if your character in the second round makes it, that's worth an extra 2 points, and so on. And those will be added to the team score at the end. We have randomly decided the draft order before we started this. Randomly,
Okay, whatever.
Sometimes it just works out that Ryan rolls an almost 10,000 and he gets to pick first.
What a beast.
I don't know why Chris is complaining. He was in on the collusion with the UA guys, so it was all set up and recorded beforehand, boys.
Chris, are you a team player or not?
I gotta act like I'm impartial. Jesus, don't throw me underneath the bus that much.
He's playing the bit.
Yeah.
So we getting this thing rolling, John?
Yeah, I was gonna say I think that's all I have to talk about. Ryan is on the clock. Ryan, what's your first pick in the first official Universe Academy?
So number 1
MHA
pick,
Fantasy League.
You got to play the noise. I'm on the clock. Play the ESPN NFL draft noise.
Don't screw it up.
I don't think we have that prepared.
I'll try and put it in post.
Getting booed as we go here.
Yes. All right. So we're kind of like in a new meta, right? The amphibious ban done. Frog lashing ban done. So presumably, I should be able to pick a character that's not Oswey 1 and have some success here, right? I told Andrew before the draft who I was going to take. I told him I was going to take Momo, but that was a lie. I'm still going to take Oswey 1 because she's still freaking insane, dude.
Oh.
She's insane. Still taking her number 1 overall. Let's get her on the team.
The chalk.
Let's hop pop.
You're not worried about the fall off or anything like that? No amphibious, no frog lashing, like you said. You're not worried?
No. The character's insane. Let's go.
Okay. All right. Oswey 1.
Yeah. I'd be a little worried about that, but she'll make a top cut. She'll get some points for sure. Right?
She's guaranteed points.
Yeah, Jesse topped right at in Toronto with her, right? And so
Jesse topped. He didn't. Meanwhile, Ryan Field didn't even make top 16, right? So it's a little more feast or famine. It's going to be a little more matchup dependent. Obviously, if you're a Momo player, you're scared of Oswey because it's still Oswey. But if you're an Oswey player, you don't really want to face Momo either. A character that can actually block 6 of your 8 attacks and say, no, you need 10 attacks is
right.
That's an actual barrier, right? So
All right. Well, Ryan is on the board, starting us off. I can't even talk. Starting us off with Asui 1, first pick. Andrew is up with pick number 2.
So I was really confident that you were actually going to take Momo, and this was going to make my second pick really easy because I have a theory here that. So I think that the pick here is Momo or Kirishima 2, right? And it's do I want the quantity that I think Kirishima 2 will put into events, or do I want the quality finishes that I think Momo will give? I think I'm going to go with Momo 1.
Okay.
Because I took Kirishima last time and it like didn't burn me, but it didn't do as well as I thought it was going to. We did like, for those watching, we did like a test run of this for like 2 events. So I'm going to go with Momo 1. Yeah, we did a secret draft, but I'm going to go ahead and do Momo 1 just because
that's a good
I am confident in the players who are going to be playing her to do well in events and show up to events.
Yeah, that show up part's going to be important, right? Yeah. So they'll definitely be at Pasadena. It sort of remains to be seen whether people are going to play Momo in provisionals, right?
Yeah.
How long they want to sit there and have those turns crank out?
Yeah, well, it'll be people that want to practice it, right?
That's true.
I assume this weekend there are going to be people that are going to want to try Momo out
for in preparation for Pasadena.
And I think also there's a lot of hype right on like the life version that Bromley and Broberg played to the finals of Toronto, or the top 4 of Toronto, and Brandon Smith played to the top 4. But like a staff strike top cut the last online provisional, so that deck's like not dead. It lost on Wavering Slash, so it's gonna be harder. But like
right.
Like that deck's probably still something that someone's gonna sign up with, right? And if you run hot with staff strike for 6 rounds, right, you'll just get to make it into a top cut pretty easily. So that I'm really torn, but I did go with Momo 1, so I think that she's going to have a lot of quality finishes, but I don't know if she's going to put 4 or 5 copies into a top cut the same way I think Kirishima might.
Right.
I get that. If I were drafting at the first pick, I would have taken Momo 1. That would have been I think it's the safest pick right now.
Shade being thrown at Ryan right there.
John, I didn't ask for your input, sir. Please.
Yeah, well, you ain't gonna ask for the great advice. It just comes free, baby.
That's it. So I guess I'm on the clock.
I was gonna say Dave is up next with third pick.
Well, you guys made my life slightly more difficult, but not like horrendously. I was actually hoping that Frog would drop to me at 3. I figured Kirishima and Momo would go 1-2. Because I'm kind of with Ryan in that like Frog's still nuts, right? Like she lost a lot of her juice, but I think there's builds out there like I think the water build played really, really, really well by a really, really good player is still ridiculous. But I don't know how many players of that kind of tier are actually on that variant.
Do you think Water Asui is better than being Water Kamui?
That's the question, right? Like that's kind of like the balancing point, and I don't know because we've seen like Keenan did well with Water Kamui, but Keenan's also a very good player. He's playing like ridiculous defensive UFS because that's what he cut his teeth on in Atlanta for like 10 years. And like that's his bread and butter. Like he loves that style of deck. He's very confident playing it. Like he's been doing it for a long time. So that's not a list that just like anybody can pick up and roll out. So I'm going to take the chalk here. I'm going to take Kirishima 2. Like I think the quantity of player, and there's a lot of very good players who are still on him. And he's one of the most versatile characters in the format still, right? Like his abilities work on both turns. You know, he generates value all over the place. Like, yeah, he might struggle a little bit with like very well piloted momos in longer games, but I don't know if that's like an insurmountable problem for his representation in like top cuts. So I feel pretty good about that pick. Like it's pretty safe. And he's just a really good character. So I feel fine taking him in the first round. My other consideration was like, okay, what's the other premier aggro deck in the format? And I think that's still Bird, but I think Kirishima is a tiny bit safer as a pick. If the field is like chock full of life wall, that's a rough climb for Bird. As
I'll have
Tim
to go
will
back
tell
and look
you,
at the results from the first our little test, but I feel like Kirishima 2 I think had just the most appearances total in top.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Over the two events.
It'll be interesting to see if that sticks, right? I wonder how many people are going to test their Kirishimas into Momos now that didn't before. And now mind you, David Pena was able to take down a couple of Momos, but I think Momo players will tell you can probably get them to wax poetic for a pretty good long while about why their Momo's the best version of Momo, not those other life Momos. And these are the 10 cards that are different. This is why this is such a huge deal.
Right.
There are lots
Yeah.
of other Momo decks, but this is
This is
one
mine.
mine.
This one is mine.
Mine's
Yeah.
the best one. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, Dave. The way you were talking, I got really nervous that you were gonna take something else. Chris was gonna take All Might 3, and Tim was gonna get Kirishima 2 at 5th pick. That made me really nervous. I was real nervous for a second.
Wow.
I
No
thought
way.
about it.
Oh, I'm not.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, Andrew. Jeez.
Yeah. I was
Of all the-
nervous.
Well,
Ah,
I definitely took the chalk. I'll fully admit that there, which is
Alright,
fine.
alright.
So,
that's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
That's
Nothing
good.
wrong with that.
All
Get some
right,
guaranteed
so-
points with your first round pick. All right, Chris, you're in the exact same spot you were
No.
in the test. The first 3 picks have been exactly the same.
Yeah.
You're fourth.
This time I am not taking what I took last time. Even
Okay.
though she lost Unwavering Slash, I still think she's still the premier deck, maybe top 4 character. I'm taking Jiro.
Mhm.
She
Yeah.
doesn't need Unwavering Slash to kill people. She has Double Jab Pummel to kill people now, and
Or
it's
Cannon Blast.
or Cannon Blast if you want to play the good version. Even though I think the good version lost a little steam without Unwavering Slash, I think the air version, just playing it like a straight aggro, just in your face, I just think that she's going
Yeah.
to be up there.
I think it's pretty hard to be the Staff Strike version at this point, but you are still allowed to play. I mean, River Cook wasn't playing Staff Strike, right? He was on,
River wasn't. No.
yeah, they were on Stun 2,
Yeah.
and other normals and
Ricochet
Unwavering Slash. But
punch,
now you can
Yeah.
be double Stun 2 attacks and flash attacks.
Mhm.
Right.
That's not a bad
that's-
place to be in Momo's world.
That's what me and River, we've been talking about their Jiro deck, and
yeah.
they're like Unwavering Slash. Oh well, now I get 5 to 6 extra slots for.
Yeah, now I
actual
can
cards.
play Amplified. Let's go.
Yeah, and I could play Amplified
Yeah.
with a straight
exactly.
face now. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I love that card too.
Yeah, that card's cool.
It's a good pick.
Tim, take my guy, because I know
I was
you
gonna
are.
say,
Yeah, I
in the last and
probably
first
will,
round, the next
right?
2 picks, we got Tim. So
Yeah,
the
he's
last
taking my
pick
guy, I
of the
know.
first round,
Yeah,
we got Tim.
yeah. I think he's going to be pretty popular.
This is the dad might.
It's me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm right now. I'm thinking about whether or not I want Ochako 1 right now.
that's fair.
Well,
It's always a pretty popular character, pretty consistently shows up in top cuts, but it just, I don't know. I can sort of feel, my vibe is that she's waning a little bit. If that makes any sense.
I guess are you thinking on like how much she relied on Amphibious? Like obviously it helped her a lot.
Yeah,
like Amphibious, that kind of stuff.
there's that a little bit too. Yeah, I
Is the
wasn't even
format
thinking about
just-
that, just like
I was gonna say, is the format just too fast for Ochako 1? I feel like she takes a minute to like get
format's
going.
not fast at all.
Hmm.
The format is not fast at all.
You think it's just that it was just the Life Asui deck that was gunning people down too quickly?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, obviously Jiro's hot draw. Like the Agrodix is still like hot draw, but at the end of the day, like when you get to the top tables and you get to top cuts, you need to be ready to fight these decks that are going to drag the game out. People that aren't just going to sell out and give you free backswings and whatnot, right?
Well,
Yeah.
it's also untimed.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, and top cuts are literally untimed. Yeah. Anyway, I do think because he's good into Kirishima, especially, I'm going to take All Might 3 here.
All right.
Didn't pan out for me in Toronto. I played All Might 3 to beat up on Kirishima's and didn't get to face any.
Oof.
But I think that's a pretty good pick.
Yeah.
And then for the wheel,
Dun, dun, dun.
So the first pick of
this
round
is
2.
a hard one. Yeah.
I like that all my pick, honestly. Like he's got
Yeah.
a lot of the same energy that like Kirishima does. Like he's really versatile. You can build him in a lot of ways. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's a
Yeah.
fat 8-hander that puts free stats on
exactly.
stuff. Like
That's what he is.
he's just
He's
really
an
good.
eight.
Yeah,
He's an
he can.
eight-hander. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how his Momo matchup is exactly, but he can make her sweat a bit, make her think about what card she's holding.
We go into our sideboard for 7 cards for that matchup. So
Yeah,
we
yeah.
got 7
But I mean,
cards for Momo, because everything else is, the way I see it from what I've been playing is, you're 50-50 or better on pretty much everything in the format except for her.
yeah.
And that's when you bring in your sideboard, and that, like, I had Travis pretty much, if I read cards properly, I won.
Oh, right,
but-
right. Yeah.
But I think that he can eventually hand tax her enough to where, hey, Heroic Strike will tap you down. You got the stun. You don't even like Heroic Strike there
Heroic
is
Strike is
huge.
yeah.
And then you board in drivers to kick her blocks that she's gonna try to build, and then you're just like, well, you don't get to build your cards. I'm gonna
Yeah.
get free stats. So
Yeah, he's one of the characters that has play into her for sure.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And there aren't too many of those.
Well, he also allows
And
you to do like the turn 2 aggro, like we've talked about before, where it's like you don't want to like starting turn 2 against Momo, you want to like be on her face and go at her.
you
And
try
All
to
Might,
make her burn some stuff.
yeah, try to get her to burn those resources down quickly. And All Might kind of helps you do that because you're like, oh, you built and then like you held like 2, 3, maybe 4 cards. Like, all right, here come the beats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
So for my next pick, I think I'm gonna go with Eraserhead. I think
Eraserhead. Ooh,
I think he's
that's
gonna
spicy
be
pick.
a popular take for people looking to beat the Momos.
That's a
Mhm.
nice pick. I like that.
I don't
Yeah.
know, maybe enough time will have passed between, for the people that didn't go to Toronto. Anybody who's coming back from Gen Cons had, this much time to recognize that Momo's a deck they need to beat. Obviously, being able to fight her speed, on even terms, and then shut her off on key attacks should be pretty good. Should be something that is appealing to people at any event. Plus, it's good against Osprey, right? In theory,
Yeah.
anyway. If you can play it well, there's
Yeah.
countless eraser heads that are like, "Oh, I'm Eraserhead, I beat Osprey," and then they die because they just don't fundamentally play the game well. But
And I
I
love
feel
that
like
pick.
that's an
Yeah.
I feel like that's an upside pick for you there, Tim. Like that's going to require somebody who has like really dug deep into that character to show up at events and be able to play him successfully for like 8 rounds. But I feel like the ceiling is Eraserhead wins 2 of the next 4 events. Right. Like he was who I
Yeah.
was hoping was going to fall to me in the second round for sure.
yeah,
So-
he's one of those characters where if he does well in Pasadena, he's going to show up at the next Supervisionals.
Oh
Yeah.
Do you,
for
do you
sure.
have some secret
So-
knowledge about Corey Aguilar's location? Do you know where he's
going
going to
to
be?
Pasadena.
He's going.
Oh,
there we
there
go.
it is.
There you go.
He'll be in Pasadena for sure. He's staying in my.
Well, that
or-
depends on if his flight doesn't get. I was so in our fake one. I was very confident Corey was going to Gen Con, so I was like,
Yeah.
Eraserhead round 2. This is sick. And then his
Yeah.
flight got canceled on the day before. So
How dare
Oh,
you
no.
demean my victory by calling it fake, Andrew?
no, what I never said that. I never.
He said-
You just
I-
said it was the fake one. It's
Oh,
on.
well,
it's
that's what
on
we all
record.
called it.
Fake one.
The
It was-
pin, the secret.
That's pretty fake
I
win.
never called it that. I poured my heart and soul into picking
I did
Osprey
really bad
first,
in that
all
one,
right?
so I'm gonna call it the fake one.
John is like Alabama, just claiming titles, random national
Right.
titles.
Don't, hey, no, no. You know where it is, Ryan. Come on.
What's sports ball?
What's sports ball? Oof.
All right, Chris,
Yeah.
who's
Uh,
next?
So
Yeah.
I have. There's still a lot of good characters out there, but I'm wavering between 2 5-handers
Ooh.
and one. Well, both.
Hiroshima one.
No, don't get me started on that deck.
Mill deck.
One character has been kind of falling off a bit. The other one still, I don't know. But oh man, I'm gonna take Ochako 2, man.
A Chaco 2. I like it.
Yep.
I think that she's still got legs, dude. Like she could still dumpster people on turn 2 if the correct
Yeah.
draw. Her death build's still very good. Her air build with 1.3 over and over and over again. If you don't have a low block, you just die. So
Mhm.
yeah, I'm pretty sure the other 5-hander isn't gonna make it to the 3rd round, but we'll see. So
All right.
I
like
doubt
that
it.
pick. I like some Chaco too.
Man.
All right, Dave.
Well,
Second pick.
the character that I considered taking in the first round fell to me here, so I'm going to take Bird.
Yeah.
Bird.
Yeah. So I feel pretty good about getting what I think is probably the best, like, very aggressive, like, chunky attack aggro in the format here. And I think aggro is a bit of a misnomer for almost any of these decks, but, like, Bird can run late and throw 7 attacks at you, and they're all gigantic. And you have access to, like, some of the best draw in the format still. Obviously, you don't get Torch, but you get a lot of very good cards to supplement it. So I feel pretty good about that pick, honestly. Like, I don't know if Bird is going to be winning events, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's one in every, like, top 8 of the next 4.
Right.
I can
So
see that. Definitely top 16. You'll at least get one at least for sure.
I think so, yeah. And, like, if that deck runs hot, it just crushes anything. So, yeah, like, I feel fine about taking that in the second round. I feel pretty good about that. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, characters that cheat progressive difficulty, which is like the core like restriction on the game, right? Like progressive
Yeah.
difficulty is supposed to keep you in check, and Tokiyame's like, no, I'm good.
Like, I don't care about that. So
Yeah, no, we're good.
Yeah, he has a fair amount of progressive difficulty.
He
He's not
does.
Asui,
It's
right?
yeah. It's
Yeah.
not as bad
Yeah.
as Asui, but he does have ways to get around it. And any character that just like a 7-hander that's like, I add 1 damage to every attack and also reduce 1 damage to every attack. Like, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that seems
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
I mean, he's still very good. So he's
Yeah,
also going to beat up the random decks that show up pretty handily for the most part.
Mhm.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, obviously, like I played him in the side provisional in Toronto, that I actually won with him, but I wasn't playing him in the regionals for a little bit because, his matchup into Kirishima and Momo doesn't seem particularly good. Although I have to like temper my beliefs a little bit that when I face Kirishima and Momo, I'm facing Kevin Broberg, I'm facing Jeffrey Kahn, who's played a lot of Tokiyami, but
Right.
he might be able to just feast on all the people that net deck Momo.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or you net deck the Kirishima, and you've been beating up your local buddies with it just by like blocking everything and not really thinking that hard, and they give you free backswings or whatever. But a really good Tokoyami player against like an okay Momo player that just has a little bit of practice is a much closer to 50-50 matchup than playing Tokoyami against Kevin Broberg, right?
Yeah. I've done a little bit of testing with Bird locally now that I've kind of like gotten back into the swing of things a little bit. And like, I played against Kirishima. I played against I played against Momo, and like Bird can take the game long, like not to the same level of effectiveness where you're just grinding out value that those two can, but like he can just like, I'm just gonna get 6 attacks in my hand naturally and just build 10 or 15 foundations and then just melt you. So like, yeah, like I said, I feel fine about that character. And like, I understand why he fell to the second round, but I feel good taking him there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right, Andrew, 2nd round pick.
So the 8 characters I wanted to take in the first 2 rounds have all been taken.
Oh no.
Dick.
At least we've done our
Wow.
job, guys.
Wow.
I had exactly 8 that I wanted, and so now I'm gonna go with one just because it somehow manages. I think the deck is still good. It's a deck that I have played a bunch. I'm gonna take Fourth Kind.
That's
Mhm.
the other 5-hander I was thinking
Yeah,
about.
mostly
Yeah.
because I think that every event there's the one guy, like someone comes into your Discord chat and is like, yeah, there's a 5-0 Fourth Kind who killed me on turn 3. Like I played a 10-minute match against Fourth Kind, and you're like, oh wait, yeah, that guy's gonna make top cut. So I think it's like a pretty safe bet to put one in 3 of 4 events, right? Like 1 out of 3 of the 4
yeah,
events.
that seems fair.
And so I just didn't have anything else here. Everything else I want is like clearly a 4th through 7th round pick.
Mm.
Like I could wait on them. So that's why I'm gonna take Fourth Kind here.
Yeah.
Play the draft a little bit. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Alrighty.
All right, Ryan.
Back to the top. So we're safely here in like the low A tier to like upper B tier of characters at this point, right? I think that's fair to say. It's kind of Wild West.
I think A tier may be a little bigger than that. I think this is. I think the upper echelon of the A tier has been taken. So there's probably.
Well,
You know.
yeah, you're right. We're probably mid to low A tier then. We'll say that. So I'm for sure like my first pick is for sure Kamui Woods. I'm taking Kamui Woods here.
Man,
I love
knew
Kamui
he
Woods.
wasn't gonna make it. I knew he wasn't.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
you know, there's a lot of characters that I would have taken before him, but like Andrew said, they're all gone. But this is a pretty good spot for him. I'll take it. He can create some like pretty unwinnable game states for a lot of decks as long as he's got a good pilot. It just depends. I don't know who's going to be playing this guy at events. You know, I know we've seen Keenan and Jose play this guy to some success, but I don't know if Keenan's going to these events and Jose is presumably on a different deck, right? So
Conway's one of those characters that, like Bromley was saying on their show the other day, Momo's offense isn't that insane, right?
Yeah.
It does have a level of predictability to it, so it's kind of like, I'm not entirely sure how Kamui Woods kills Momo. Like, I know you can pool flood, but she's still putting minus a bajillion speed on things and clearing any face-ups you put in her pool. But, like, I don't know how Momo's killing Kamui either, right?
Right.
It's a tall task either way.
Yeah.
Go to Plan B.
I only get like
go to Plan B,
deadlock
boys.
ice storms, and that's kind of a problem for Momo at least at certain points. So
Yeah.
there's tools there for sure. So I think that's a great pick, honestly. So
this round 3 pick, starting off round 3, is going to be a much tougher pick for me.
Let's say this is where we're gonna make your points here, right? This is the
Gotta make my points here.
Yeah,
Actually,
we're starting to hunt those bonus points.
I think the best character that has not been selected yet is probably just Toga.
okay.
But
Oh,
yeah,
is that your final pick, Ryan? Is that your final answer?
Oh man, yeah. I was going to take Toga. I think she's probably like the most raw power in a character that hasn't been picked yet. We haven't seen a lot of success from her, to be fair though. But maybe we'll see her sneak into some stuff. I don't know. I don't have a lot of confidence in this pick, but I do think she's a really strong character.
I get it.
I third round, but I'm also way higher on that character than most people. So
yeah, we were all initially kind of like, she's like okay, but I feel like after I played her some and just seeing other people play, you're like, oh no, like being able to see pretty much your entire deck because she just sees so many cards is actually crazy, right? Like, you just fix any problems you might have, and you just have to, that card right there.
One of the best cards in the format. She plays it better than anybody. Like, she's good. She's very good.
And also just being able to, you have to be able to like be comfortable just kind of yo-yoing your life up and down and being like, maybe I went down to like 11 on turn 2, but I know how to like fix that, right? There's ways to get around it with Toga.
It's very easy to like balloon back up to 20 like very quickly in that deck. So yeah,
I like Toga. All right, Andrew, round 3.
Right,
who we looking at?
Tim brought up this character 7 picks ago. So I'm going to take Ochako 1. I was just very, I still think that like, basically at the point of the draft we're in, rounds 3 and 4, I am looking at characters who play double jab pummel.
Okay.
And
that's fair.
So like it was her, like Dinky was on my list. There was like a handful of characters who I was like, these characters play double jab pummel. And that card's messed up when you draw 3 of them on turn 2 or turn 3 or whatever. Like that card's very powerful when we draw them in multiples. And then also, you know, I still think she's good. Like I think the life version's a little rough to play now. Like you lost Lashing, you lost Amphibious. But I think the air version, and then I was talking with Kevin Broberg a bit, and I saw Tim might have brought this up in the chat for the last provisional or something about Chaos Ochako having a bad Mineta 2 matchup, and that deck like disappeared. That deck just doesn't exist anymore. Like it might show up, but it's just not a real deck right now. Like it's a real deck, but it's not a deck that is showing up, I guess. So yeah, I'm gonna take Ochako 1. I'm
afraid of that guy, and then
The question for Chaos Ochako now is, you know, how are you killing Momo? But like that's a question for 90% of the field. So like, if you're gonna be a deck with a dubious Momo matchup, as good as any, right? So
I guess you're on the maybe I stunned you and jolted some stuff.
Yeah, I mean your poke game
right?
is really good, right? So if you can make her use some resources, like she is one of the better characters at like poking at her and then defending herself, right?
And like Gravelift Meteor Shower is a really good bread and butter, and there's going to be an Ochako 1 who's just playing like 4 Gravelift, 4 Meteor Shower. If I get to turn 5 with 2 momentum, right, I'm gonna throw 7 attacks at you. And that's my offense. My offense is I might cheese you early game, and late game I'm just gonna Meteor Shower you and hope that 7/5 damage moves is enough.
And your Momo plan is, you know, hope that they're not the Momo that's at my locals every week, and they're instead a build that's not running instant Shining Flash.
So that's I'm gonna go with the Ochako 1. I think that's a pretty safe 3rd round pick. Pretty good.
I like that pick. I am surprised she made it this far.
Me too. I feel like there's a pretty so I'm on the clock here, and I feel like there's a pretty significant teardrop like right now. I think most of the like front runner characters, I feel like Ochako was kind of the last one of kind of the stalwarts of the format. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm scrambling a little bit. We're gonna see where this goes. So let's comb through here. Like I guess.
You mean you didn't have Ectoplasm ready to go as your round 3 pick?
I did not. I know that's kind of a shocker, but I did not.
See who was picked right here last time. Oh, okay. It was Sarah One's pick last time.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of interesting to like go back.
I was really confident. It got hyped up in several of my group chats. We're looking back at, if you guys can't see this, we were looking back at the last draft, and I took Sarah 1 really early because it got super hyped up in one of my group chats, and then none of them registered with it.
And then it didn't happen.
They were all like, "Oh, I'm not playing that deck anymore."
Oh my god, that's
cool.
That's really funny.
Oh, feels bad, man.
Oh,
Man.
nothing feels great here.
Yeah, this is where you're
Well,
gonna
like
take
three-
start
I
some
got-
reaching here.
Like, I'm pretty sure Dave will not pick one of the 3 people that I'm going to pick in my next pick. So I'm
Probably true.
probably very, very confident.
I've got like 4 or 5 characters marked off.
I have a number that I want like later, but I don't feel like I need to pick them now.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna take Denki 1.
Dinky one. All
That
right.
was one of them. Yep, that was one.
Yeah.
Damn it. That
Yeah,
was
he
one
was
of
on
them.
my list before.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a way of showing up at provisionals, especially.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He's one of those decks that if he runs hot, like disgusting things can happen. And
Yeah.
like the Chaos Shell is actually really good.
Yeah.
Like
Chaos is good. Yeah.
Chaos is very strong. And like any character, especially 7-handers that can run Tearful Uppercut with a straight face, like I'm on board with that. So sure, we'll go with that guy. He's good. So
I love me some Dinky one. He was actually my pick in round 3 of the first draft too, and I played him some of my my locals this past week. And I played the order build just because I was like, getting 5 momentum randomly and recipro bursting people seems funny, so we'll do that.
it's not bad.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun to play. I did that and it was fun. Yeah, just like any character that has like a once per game ability, like I'm instantly kind of like, what are we doing here? Like, what does this guy do? Because if you can only do this once per game, this has got to be nuts, right? And his
Yeah.
even says you can't cancel it.
Yeah, his critical mass turns are kind of insane. So,
Mhm.
and again, he's another character that can play double jab pummel really well, and
Yeah.
so on and so forth. So, sure, yeah, I'm fine with that pick. So,
Yeah.
but I do feel like right after Ochako 1, there's a pretty severe teardrop, and he's
Yeah.
probably top of the next tier. So,
I like any character that says if you block my attack, bad things happen to you.
bad things happen. Yeah,
Yeah, like
So-
that's. Do you want to block this attack? Do you want to block this 3 mid for 4? Okay, cool. I tap this.
right.
Yeah,
So-
I totally get
Cool.
that.
I'm in.
All right.
Let's go.
Chris,
Being in
round
the
3,
middle
who you looking
sucks,
at?
guys. I'm gonna let y'all know
It's
that.
the worst, Dave. It's
worst.
I was in the
It
middle
is-
last
it's
time, and it's
worst.
the worst.
It's really the worst.
Yeah.
So Dave
Yeah.
took one of my 3 that I have. Both the characters have topped in the last couple events. One is one I think, because speaking of Cheerful Uppercut, has a really good Cheerful Uppercut plan, and that's Shoto Todoroki 2, where he can hit you with it and then pick it up and then just be able to defend with it. So I'm gonna probably think my other pick's gonna stick around until pick 4. So I'm gonna take Shoto 2.
All right,
'Cause,
Shoto 2.
Brandon Smith did top with him at Gen Con with a water build with the amphibious ambush craziness that
Yep.
people were going crazy about, which sounds amazing. And then Cheerful Uppercut's still a really good card. So,
Chris, it's funny. That's the other character I was considering. So,
Yeah.
Shoto 2 is good. He is a 7-hander if you hit your opponent. So he's
yeah.
he
totally
put
fine.
free stats and stun. He's able to do stuff, and his symbols are very relevant. So
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that pick a lot. It's not he gets to play Syrian Glacial Storm. Like obviously it's his cards, he can spend any of his symbols, but that's a card like I'm just waiting for someone to have that in a deck and just crush everyone like with it,
Well-
because they're like, oh, you built out. Okay, cool. Like
well,
now we
Momo
go
does
back
not
to-
want to see that card at all ever.
Yeah.
Against,
She operates on limited stage all right.
Yeah.
She still gets minus speed, everything, but that is a card that got a huge buff from the bans.
Yes.
Because the problem with Searing Glacial Storm before was, I'm going to Searing Glacial Storm, and you're going to keep your Specialist of Sound, your 2 Amphibious, your Requesting Assistance. It's just like,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
a Fire, Order, or Water deck. My board is, unless I'm Amphibious, but there's no Water Order characters that can play Amphibious, so my board's like very honest.
Mhm.
Right.
And you actually have 8 foundations.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
So it
It's
doesn't
not a
matter
great
that I
look.
made you go back to
Yeah.
5, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a great look.
Yeah. All
All
right.
right.
I like it.
Go ahead,
So-
Tim.
I think I might go with the recently hyped up by content creators plan here.
Oh, here we go.
That
Oh,
might be the
no.
angle.
What is it? Oh man.
I think for my third round, I'm going to take the one that's shown up in a top cuts. I'm going to take Cementos.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, good. Mike. Oh man, Cement.
I gotta. This is
Chris, you
so.
sweating right now?
No,
This
I'm
is-
thinking I think he may be taking my next pick next.
Yeah, I think Cementos is picking up some steam in terms of play rate. I don't know if he's actually going to crack a top cuts again,
Yeah.
but there are certainly more people trying to, and if the
Mhm.
format is slowing down, that's certainly good for him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
He's
is also got to
he's
be
presumably got
the
a good
biggest-
Kirishima matchup, and that's what you want to be right now. So
Yeah.
Well, also like not to interrupt you, John, but like
No, you're fine,
Kevin,
go ahead.
like Tim Broberg the other day was saying that he actually thinks Cementos is like slightly spooky for Momo because he just becomes like a 10-hander and doesn't have to respect her. He like said it while we were doing the brewing podcast. He was like, I actually think Cementos might be spooky for Momo. So I was like kind of hoping he would make it to round 4. I didn't think he would, but I was kind of hoping he would. So
Yeah.
Yeah. I think when people think about facing Momo, they think about her defense all the time. But I think people who play Momo are worried about like, yeah, but I need to kill them at some point.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
what happens when I get out of Swiss and people stop giving me free backswings?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right? Like
And
that's what
Cementos
they're
just
thinking
says,
about.
"Oh, I'm gonna play throws, and I
Cementos is
add like
happy
5
to
damage."
just
So,
yeah, and he's just happy to just chill, right?
and
Yeah.
become like a
And play that long
9-hander,
game with
right?
her.
Like,
Yeah.
Mhm. And
Very pleased
that's
with
got to be
killing
the
that.
biggest jump because I took Cementos in the last round of the first one. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's a
Ooh.
huge jump
That's a huge jump.
Is
from
that
the
our
first
first
pick of
fight
round
pick?
7 to the last pick of round 3. I like that, and
Dang.
I like Cementos. I'm a Cementos fanboy. So
The most
Yeah.
improved player.
Pretty
Mhm.
interesting spot here. Kind of for the same reasons Tim said, right? Like
Mm.
if the format slows down, he can go way slower and
Mhm.
critical mass people, you know. So yeah.
Well, and I think what's going to trip people up with playing Cementos is like knowing like when do I want to start flipping my foundations to ready stuff. I feel like a lot of people read him. They're like, I flip everything as soon as possible.
Right.
And just I want to
Yeah,
get the
no.
biggest hand, and like you have to be intentional with your flips, right? Like sometimes maybe like, all right, I just need to get to a 6 hand size right now, so we're just gonna do some shit and flip some stuff.
Yeah. Maybe you want to be 6 ASAP, but you don't necessarily have to rush to 7.
Yeah.
yeah, or beyond, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. I
So
like
for
it
my
too.
other pick, is I think not only just recently this week, but just sort of really ever since Kirishima started picking up steam, there's been a lot more talk about this guy, and I certainly
Oh,
got
Andrew's
dumpstered
shaking
by
his
him
head.
at
I
Gen
don't know.
Con.
I know
So
who
I'm
this
going to go ahead and take Shigaraki.
Ah, there it is.
Oh, come on.
Got him.
Oh, shit.
You know,
He was not going to make it back to you, Andrew.
Yeah,
Don't-
no,
don't-
the,
don't-
How dare you draft Jose Norono from me? How
If
dare
Tim,
you?
if Tim didn't take it, I would have taken it.
Yeah, I didn't expect him to
I
make
mean,
it that
you know,
far.
I picked it in the right slot when every single person in this round was like, "Yeah, he was mine," right?
Mhm.
You know, death is an interesting symbol right now. It has a lot of really good tools and hasn't really found like the face of the death symbol really showing up at events just yet.
It's Toga. It's Toga. I promise.
I wanted
Well,
to
go show us in the provisional. Go wipe it out with Toga.
I wanted
yeah,
to go, yeah.
I'm getting that deck put together, and I'm going to see if I can make it on Saturday. So we'll see what happens. But
Yeah, but you know, Shigaraki, you know, obviously have the float combo thing, which you know some people don't really like, but they're taking 6 or 9, or they faith shield it, and
Mhm.
you're kind of
Yeah.
fine if they want to faith shield your 6-speed move or your 8-speed
Yeah.
move. You evil gaze your float combo, just be extra jerk, right? The he's very good at dealing 9.
Yes.
Mhm.
And he's obviously naturally makes Kirishima's response feel really bad. Gets if you're playing him off of death now, you have excited for blood, tricky to trigger, but if you do trigger, you get to draw some extra cards. So yeah, he's a toolsy death character, and those have a chance right now. And 4th round will take it.
I
Yeah,
like it.
I always
It's a
look
great
at that character, man. Like every new set, every new card that comes out that has one of his symbols, I'm like, well, how
Mhm.
can we fit this into him? Because I know I've talked with Tim a bunch of, like, he's just missing like a draw card, not like kind of like a different, like he has
Or a
excited
Sipper
for
extend
blood.
or a back alley or something
Yeah,
like
like
that.
something
right?
he can draw
Future
while he's
charge even.
attacking.
Like,
Yeah, something like
Yeah.
that, because it just seems like, wow, like this character just seems super powerful on offense and on defense, because no one wants to get fully blocked by him. And then
Yeah, he's hard to poke into, and Momo and
exactly.
Kirishima are characters that really want to poke in particular.
Mhm.
Mhm.
The
Yeah,
float combo plus excited for blood is going to draw you a card, though.
is real good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very true.
for sure.
Very true.
As I say, I love Shigaraki. I talked about it before. Like before set 1 came out, I was so excited. I read him. I was like, I'm gonna fucking play Shigaraki. He has death. That was always my favorite symbol in UFS. His abilities seem great. Like he's like cool. He rewards you for blocking. That's like that's great. That's great in this game. He
It's one of
rewards
the
you for playing good
greatest
defense.
It's definitely one of the
Yeah.
greatest mini games ever.
His
Yeah.
his biggest problem, as I see it, is we touched on this kind of before we went on the air. Is what happens to Shigaraki when your opponent just stares at you and builds 4 every turn,
Yeah.
and he just kind of like, oh, this kind of sucks, and like his character doesn't really do anything at that point. But like that's a problem with any 6-hander without draw on their face. So In the fourth round, that's a slam dunk pick here.
That's a really valid pick right there.
In my experience, Dave, what happens is you hold one of each zone, and then he plays acid chop,
and then you're very upset,
and you can't even draw on defense.
Yeah,
like okay.
That's pretty good.
Right.
That's pretty good.
Or you have your faith shield, and then he goes float combo,
and you're real sad. Yeah.
Good luck blocking with that +3 modifier.
Yeah,
that's fair. That's fair.
Fair.
All right, Chris. Fourth round pick. What are we thinking about?
This is another last round pick that jumped up. I think Dobby is going.
I was about to say it's got to be Dobby, right?
It's Dobby, man. With Brent's foray into top cuts in the last provisional, and that Chaos Dobby can be vicious at times, and it has kind of like a later game type state if you can get your opponent not to cancel your throw thing, but I don't think you're playing on that, but giving +3 damage to every meteor shower you want to throw seems pretty awesome. So yeah, I think Dobby's going to make a nice push here in the later half of the beginning half, I should say, of season 3 into set 3. I think he has some really good legs.
Nice.
All right, Dave, fourth round.
All right, so
back to the middle.
Here's where we're going to start bringing some spice.
Okay.
And this is like
it's not spice if it's on my sheet of paper.
Yeah. So. This is going to be Present Mike 2.
Oh my
yes.
God, yes, fucking yes.
Wow.
We're gonna go ahead and
please elaborate, Dave.
So I will elaborate on that a little bit, right? So let me make sure that's the right Present Mike. That's the 7-hander. Yeah, okay.
This is 7-hander. 717, baby.
Yeah.
So like if we're in a point where the format is slowing down pretty substantially, right? And by all accounts, that's kind of where it is. A character that is taxing your opponent for 5 cards out of their deck every time he swings if they want to block, and has a once per game that says, I don't want to deal with this cannon blast, so we're just not going to deal with this cannon blast. That seems like a pretty decent place to be. Yeah, he's 17 life, but it doesn't really matter. He also runs Chaos's kind of defensive toolkit really well. Because he has the backup once per game, right? Where if something slips through the cracks for him, he's just like, whatever, I'm just gonna tank it with my face and not care, and just kind of move on with his day. He also puts free damage on stuff that your opponents really want to get forced into blocking, right?
Exactly.
Double jab
characters that put damage on pummel, damage on meteor shower.
Pretty good. Yeah. So yeah,
I mean, this is what Dobby did, right? Was put damage on chaos moves, and this isn't quite as much damage, but
right. He's a little more. He's not as consistent with what he's doing, but I feel like his late game is absolutely cracked, right? You tank up like crazy, and you can dedicate your entire attack base to just nothing. Right. And you run maybe a couple of throws, like 0 grab lift, and you run pummel, and the rest of your attacks are just utility pieces that keep you from getting killed.
Fearful.
And then late in a game, you're just throwing them because you're milling your opponent for 15 every turn, and you put him on that kind of clock, right? So, has he had results yet? No. Is it going to take somebody who kind of sees the format the same way I do? Yeah, probably will.
Like a madman.
like a madman, yeah. And again, a lot of players, especially players that aren't quite as experienced, might get scared off by 17 vitality. But that R is nuts. That once per game is absolutely crazy good because it's live all the time, and there's very little you can do to stop it. Blood Curdle is basically an irrelevant card in the format. Nobody's really playing it right now. So. Yeah, it's definitely the spiciest pick of the fourth round, I think. But hey man, I'm gonna swing for the fences on this one a little bit. So yeah,
Dave, it might be the spiciest pick we have the whole draft. I'm gonna go ahead.
I'm okay with being that guy. I'm good with
it. Your reasoning is solid, but to me, it might be the actual most out of left field thing that you could have said for me in that moment.
In
that exact moment.
Yeah, Dave knows. I'm a bit of a believer in Present Mike too. He's in my Mina sideboard. As what else am I going to do against Momo? I've bounced between him and Mike 1, actually, as sort of the long game inevitability sideboard. But
for what it's worth, for anybody who's watching this and is going to build in, don't run. Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah,
that card is bad.
That's a locals card.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not even a locals card, man.
I'll get off my weird soapbox for this character.
No.
We'll move on to the next
You're
one.
getting off. I'm getting on.
Yeah.
So Ryan and I a couple weeks ago we got together and played some games, and like every now and then I'll get like a deck idea. I was like, I just gotta get it out of my system. I know it's bad. I gotta get it out of my system, put it together, and I'll play it. And then I'm good. Like I did it with E to 3, and I was like, it did E to 3 things. I was fine with it.
Yeah.
But then I did like
you played it. It worked. We'll move on. Yeah.
And I did it with President Mike 2, and I was like, I know like I memed President Mike 1 a bunch, and like I think President Mike 2 is just kind of funny. And I built him on good. This is obviously before the unwavering / ban. And playing against Ryan, and like I was like, this deck's kind of good.
It's kind of good, right?
This deck's kind of good. So, like I played him on good, and it's like, well, I draw a bunch of cards. I play foundations really well. I build foundations because I'm playing Back Alley Haymaker. And it's like, okay, yeah, sure, Back Alley Haymaker only has 4 speed, but it is stun 2. I had, Earphone Jack in play. Here's like a 5 mid for doing at least 5. You want to block it?
8 to 9
You want to deal with
sometimes?
this? Yeah. Like I was like, man, maybe I need to just play President Mike 2.
I think he's
Smith's
really
about to
cool.
tell you to play All Might off the good symbol.
Yeah, I was talking to Church about finding a deck for locals instead of playing All Might 3 all the time, and he goes, just play President Mike 2 with a 7-hitter that puts damage on his attacks, and you still get to play the good symbol, and you still get to draw cards and defend and do all this stuff, and you get to say, no, I don't want to deal with that.
I'm a little higher on the chaos version, mostly because of because of the defensive stuff that you
chaos
that you
defense
get.
is really good. Yeah.
Yeah, like you get struggling and a breaker, like a really nuts breaker 2, and obviously
you get to play the best card in the game. It's Ice Storm.
Yeah. So that's my mindset there, and I'm okay with being the spice here. So.
We spent way too much time on President Mike 2. Let's go.
No,
Andrew.
we
spent an appropriate, if not enough time on President Mike 2.
Honestly, like what I pick is gonna be really boring, so we could keep talking. Like continuing my trend of 6.56 for hand size. We're talking about the format slowing down.
Yeah.
This character's still pretty popular. I'm gonna go with Mei Hatsume.
No.
I think she's a really popular character, and if we're going to talk about the format slowing down, the reason I think she did so well in Vegas is because so many people were like, Eraserhead's the meta. We got to beat Eraserhead. And then she showed up and she's like, I have 9 cards in my hand and all my moves have 15 damage on them. Catch. Like, I'm going to, so exaggerating a little bit. But yeah, I think if we're going to talk about the format slowing down, I think that Mei is a popular character. She does something that's like gimmicky with the box full of babies things, and players like that. So I think she'll be a popular choice for events.
Yeah, I still kind of like the all build even without unwavering /.
Me too.
So,
yeah.
I was gonna say she's also I love Mei because she's like the one character right now who can like drag the all symbol kicking and screaming into a top cuts if she wants to, right?
and I'm not like 1,000% certain, but I'm pretty sure if you looked at Garrett's list from Vegas, I don't think it got hit by the amphibious or lashing ban at all. I don't think he was playing either.
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't
the
believe
life
he
build,
was.
Yeah, so like I know that
lashing, but
he might have been playing lashing, but I know that like he didn't like tongue whip because I listened to him and Bromley talk, like he was on just like value attacks, like all my attacks do something value, so he might have been on lashing. I'd have to go back and check, but and so yeah, I just think if we're talking about the format slowing down, she's a pretty solid choice. I heard Ryan exclaim
no.
Ryan
Bro.
loves some Mei.
Talk about ripping my heart out. That was the pick. That was the pick.
Look,
all right.
I watched my 4th round pick get taken, both of them by Tim, so I had to take someone else's joy.
Yeah, that's fair. Oh man, now I'm scrambling. Oh no.
Yeah, you got the back-to-back picks too, Ryan. Come on.
I'm double scrambling now. I was only going to be single scrambling.
You should have had like 3 picks stored up.
I did.
Time we spent on President
I
Mike
did.
2.
They all got taken.
President Mike 2? Come on, man. I like that pick though, Dave. That's good. All
right, so we're gonna talk about President Mike 2 again for the next 10 minutes.
So we're
gonna theory craft decks now. We've changed the podcast entirely. We're scrapping the fantasy league. We're just all gonna work on our best versions of President Mike.
Are we in round 4 right now?
My Mina deck can go to locals with.
We are in round 4. Yeah.
This is the last pick of round 4.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Oh man, this is where it gets tough, boys.
You don't have like 7 characters you can just pick right now, because I kind of do.
Yeah, I have like 5.
Oh my god.
I don't. I'm flying by the seat of my pants here, guys.
So am I, but I have at least a list in my brain. I'm like, what has Tim played lately? What has Phil played lately?
I'm not gonna be at any of. I'm not gonna be at a single one of these events.
I know, but hey, you played stuff before, and you talk about decks, and people listen to you. So yeah.
I mean, you guys. All right. This is a madman pick.
All right, the pick is in.
I'm gonna take E to 3 here.
E to 3.
Ooh.
I'm gonna take E to 3 here.
Is this where Ida and his brother go like in consecutive picks?
Yes, for the
Like we
next
did last
12
time?
picks, it's all the Idas, all the Ida
Somebody's
clan.
just gonna take E to 2 immediately in the first round, in the 5th round too.
No, I would not take.
Somebody
I would
gets a
take E to
little too
1.
close to Jeremy Ray, and
Yeah, they're like eat it.
No, I mean, so E to 3. I think E to 3 can put out some respectable offense, right? And he has some deceptive defense with his Ready One Foundation every turn. Like he can play defense a little better than you would suspect. I think he can just do some cool stuff, man. He can get on top of people really quick with his response, and if people haven't played against the deck, he comes hard, and people just don't realize it, man. I think he's a really solid character.
I love E to 3. Like that was, like I said, I built that deck, and it did exactly what I wanted it to. It, a lot of times it was like turn 2, like turn 1. Well, I built like 5 or 6 foundations on turn 1, and I can ready something once a turn, and I don't need a momentum because I get to play reciprocal acceleration, and we're just gonna blow your face off real quick.
Yeah.
yeah, every time I think about EO3, I think about Kevin tutoring for instant Shining Flash literally every single turn, and then I stop thinking about EO3.
Yep.
That's a rough day at the office for sure.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Fair
Well, you
enough.
get to you get to play him on order. I played him on order. So you use a blood curdle, like bang, blood curdle, get out of here.
Yeah, you can do that.
Thing.
He is
Yep.
probably the best Blood Curdle character, just on the back of being a 7-hander. Honestly,
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
So, yeah. Or he,
All right.
And with the Ready One Foundation, you can afford the extra 4 check, right? You're like,
Actually, no. I'm sorry.
You're thinking of
Razorhead is
EO2.
definitely the best, but he's probably
Oh.
right behind him. So,
Mm.
yeah.
All right,
Ryan.
boys.
Ryan, you ready for your
What you got, Ryan?
I am. All right, look. I'm gonna take a character that I am. This is a bad pick. I'm just gonna tell you guys straight up. This is a bad pick. I'm taking Stain just because I fucking love Stain, dude. This is a horrible pick.
There you go.
fanboy pick?
He might get
the
me 5
fanboy.
points if someone is brave enough to go top cut and give me 5 extra points.
I
I will-
only
I was gonna say you gotta get
only
Levi to do it.
person-
Levi
yeah,
won like a
Levi's gonna-
provisional
yeah,
at
yeah,
Origins, right?
Levi's gonna do it for you.
Levi, yes,
Everybody
or-
was casting for 2 events in a row at least, so he might
Yeah.
play.
Look,
Yeah.
for anyone who tops with Stain, the first person to comment on the video, I will give you an Ida playmat from Gen Con, because I have like 4 of them. All right? I'll hook you up with a free playmat, so get me 5 points, top with Stain, and I got merch coming your way.
What is the bribes?
We
The
have
bribes,
blatant
they're out
bribes
there.
in the
We,
middle
I
of
was
the
like, we
draft.
technically
We
did
went
not
over the
set up any
rules.
guidelines against bribing
Yes.
people.
Go back, rewind this podcast. There was no rules against bribery at the beginning, okay?
Look, man, we're playing like Blood Bowl, all right? You can bribe people, it's fine.
Nice.
That's great.
All right,
That's great.
Andrew.
All right, so I've already heard the phrase "hyped by content creators" come out of someone's mouth. So I have a pick that I feel like I could get later, but I'm nervous I won't. I'm between 2 characters right now. I'm not gonna say the one because I think I'm gonna take a chance that he comes back to me. It's I guess I gave away that it is a male character.
I was gonna say, ooh, that's
Dude,
risky. That's like
ooh,
that's
you
like
tipped
in
your
Guess
hand.
Who.
3/4 of the format.
Yep.
I am going to go with Bakugo 2.
I like it.
Just because
I
he
like it.
topped Toronto and he's a 7-hander on the death symbol, and he's also a 7-hander on the earth symbol. And I think earth is a popular symbol, and I just think the character's popular enough that like I could see someone be like, oh yeah, he topped Toronto. He must be doing something right. I know that like when people dove into kind of the stats of what happened at Toronto,
Yeah.
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
You beat me to it.
His
yeah,
route
I
was
saw Tim
circuitous to
gearing
get
up there, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's a 7-hander, right? So I feel like comfortable that there's a chance someone goes, that's my favorite character. I'm going to play this
Yeah.
7-hand size character on Earth or Death. I don't think Fire is particularly good, but like I think Death is good and I think Earth is good. So he's a 7-hander with those symbols.
That's
I like
fair.
it. And like you said, he just had the top at the event. And regardless of the size, it's at least going to give
Yeah.
people the confidence like, oh, maybe I was like iffy about like really diving into Bakugo 2. But we've seen even at a smaller event, it was still smaller, but a very crowded field of really talented players. Someone still made top 8 with Bakugo, or top 16 with Bakugo, right? Or was it top 8?
Yeah.
Top eight.
Top 8.
Yep.
Yeah,
He
it's
did-
like
he
the biggest.
He did take a game off of Kevin by gut shotting him to death.
Yeah.
Oh, there
Yeah,
it is.
that was the other thing. Is he played final? Like, oh my
Amazing.
god, I saw that in that deck. And I was like,
He
I
also
Was-
got
was-
judge
was his-
damage, right?
was
Like
off
he
of
started
Earth,
a
or
game
was he
down.
dead?
Oh, did he really? Oh,
Yeah.
that sucks. Oh,
So,
wow. That sucks.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Yeah, I kind of regret it now that I said it, but it's already written down. So we're going with Bakugo
the
2
pick, the
here.
pick is in.
Yeah.
Pick is
So-
I scrolled by.
Dave's already
I
on the
scrolled
clock.
by a third character that wasn't on my mind and went, "Oh wait, I should probably have taken that one." So we'll just wait and see.
So I'm going to take away Spicier 7-hand size death character, who also runs Excited for Blood pretty well.
Okay. yeah.
I'm taking Snipe.
Bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ryan was talking about the readying a foundation. I'm like, you should just take Snipe. It's a better pick. But yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't ask for your input either. Thank you. Appreciate it.
So
Fair enough.
this kind of goes back to some of the same reasoning I had for my last couple of picks with like Present Mike and that kind of thing. Where like his long game, he has some degree of like inevitability, right? And he is a 7-hand size with relatively good defensive symbols. And he's sweet. So like
Right.
He's really.
he also runs instant Shining Flash really well, and that card's nuts. So
Mhm.
I'm here for him. So
I like the
I don't have a
pick.
lot to say other than that. Like he's probably like the 3rd or 4th best Excited for Blood character, and
He's got some popularity.
yeah,
Mhm.
he showed up in a top cut, I think, relatively recently, if I remember correctly.
He
bubbled out.
almost. He bubbled out.
He bubbled.
He lost his
That's
win
what it
now.
was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Final round gaming's
I was
Jacob
gonna say it was
Stewart.
Jacob because he also
Yeah.
I don't know if Jacob's deck ran it, but he also gets to run the cape randomly pretty well.
He was
right?
running the
Like,
air symbol, I
He's
think.
pretty good.
Yeah,
on
he was
tape.
off of air. Yeah, he was off of
I was
air.
up air. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like any deck that can like actually run the cape and like use it effectively, I'm like, what are we doing here? This seems crazy. And you're like, oh no,
Yeah.
I just flip over Excited for Blood or whatever foundation, and they just get flipped back over and I just keep abusing them.
Yep.
Like I know
Yeah,
I feel like
he gets some really cool tricks. So
yeah. It's
Yeah.
like it says 20 life on his character, but it's really 50 or something like that. Something stupid.
yeah, he's
Ah.
pretty cool. So he's got some spice on all of his symbols. So
All right, Chris.
I'm in it.
Is Chris Smith ever going to take a 7-hander?
No, because I'm taking all of them. So
Because right now I'm sticking with my age bracket, and I got the bricks beat off of me last week on Friday against this character because I disrespected his offense. I'm taking Gran Torino because I think that
Okay.
character's being slept
Oh.
on, and he can do some really neat stuff, and he punishes your opponent for blocking. Again, if you don't block him, you just take damage, is what I did, and I lost game 1 going first as All Might 3. So he could do 30 pretty easily when he gets to like just crush Airstream drivers into your face. So, but yeah, I think it may be a bit of a reach at 5, but I think we're scraping the bottom of the barrel in the B and C tier right now. So I'm gonna take Gran Torino as my 5th round pick.
I mean,
Dude,
also
I just took Snipe. I think your pick is totally acceptable.
I get.
Wow.
I
have,
get
like,
real
5
nervous
different
whenever
characters I'm
Tim.
happy to pick.
I get real nervous whenever Tim's up because I feel like he's inside my brain. I feel like he's inside my brain. And I'm very nervous.
Yeah.
I don't know.
about what's happening.
I've got like 5 options I'd be pretty happy taking right now.
well, you get to pick 2 of them.
Yeah,
Tell
I
me
get
what
to pick.
they
I have
are,
to pick
Tim,
2
so
of
I can
them.
take them. So I can take
Yeah.
one of them after you're done.
Let's see. I think. Well, in terms of, so I think there's 3 provisionals in this layout. So I'm gonna, for my 5th round pick, I'm gonna go ahead and take Nomu.
Oh shit! Yeah, he was on my list too.
Yeah, he's
Mhm.
he's gonna
Yeah.
he tends to crack some top cuts here and there at
Mhm.
provisional level events. The other one, man, I can't. There's one character that I cannot believe is still available. There's actually 2, but really 1. And then there's the character I actually want to take.
Is it Mina?
No, I don't want to take Mina.
Oh.
I'm the
see.
only one
Wow.
that plays that character. Me and Phil Birch.
That is true.
The
I think it's the same character you couldn't believe was available last time.
I was gonna say
As-
I think I know who it is. I don't want to say just
yeah.
because of you know.
yeah,
Now
let
you're
me.
inside his head.
Well, I was
Yeah,
just thinking. I think if it's this
I
character.
think he's gonna start showing up again. I'm gonna take All Might 2.
Oh,
Damn.
never mind.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nice one. Nice one.
off base there.
Yeah,
That's not what I was thinking either.
Yeah, I think people are gonna gravitate to the. I refuse to take Mineta too.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm never.
Last time you were like, I can't believe he's still here in the 5th round. So I thought that's where we were going again, or the 4th
Yeah.
round. Yeah.
Oh, I took Nomu last time. I check that out. Yeah.
Oh, neat.
I did not remember that I did that. But here we are.
Yeah. So Nomu and All Might 2. All right, Chris.
Yeah, I
back-
think.
or-
Yeah, I
yeah.
just think there's going to be some people that at least take a shot at seeing if they can throw Momo and Kirishima to death
Yeah.
and just say like, you only have so
Sure.
many faith shields. You know, we're gonna try to roll this All Might 2 back. We've seen people starting to cut Wall Cling from their decks.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's true.
I think he's got a shot.
Yep. And he can play defense reasonably well, right? Like, because you are
Yeah.
playing almost exclusively all throws, you've got the momentum for the extra card draw on your opponent's turn if you need it. He's got what? He's 29 health, right?
Yep.
Or 28? He's in the same
29.
there. 29.
Yeah.
So I mean, he got a big old butt. He can take some hits. And especially to your point, into Momo, she's not really coming through with like, here's an 8, 9, 10 damage attack like consistently. So if you want to like take a couple of hits, he feels kind of okay doing that. I feel like,
Yeah,
right?
it's really just a question of the good symbol right now, where your primary speed hate is Specialist of Sun, and if you don't have that, you don't really have speed hate.
No, you don't.
Or maybe you just go ahead and main deck villain, going out to fight villains.
Yeah.
Something up in sideboarding, but you could probably just actually main deck that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let's say other than that, I mean, the only kind, I guess, like it's not really speed hate, but like high value target taps
Yeah,
for
kind of
2, like
yeah.
that's kind of speed hate, but yeah. All right, Chris, 6th round. You got 2 picks left. It's gonna be a while to your last pick.
Well,
So choose wisely.
I feel Tim saying I
Yeah,
haven't
just
taken
one.
being a 7-hander. It felt like a shot to my intelligence. So, and we
Don't
all
let
know
them
that
bait you,
Tim
Chris.
is,
Don't let them bait you, Chris.
and Tim is just bullying me into submission. So I'm gonna take Iobara Shiozaki because
Okay.
she's a water 7-hander, and we saw Keenan bubble out with her at Gen Con. Basically, which led right into his Kamui deck. So I think she has some legs. She gets to play like really good offense with playing all. She doesn't have to play all lows, but she can just be like, I'm gonna throw this stuff, and then I'm gonna play this low attack for free. And if it's a cheerful uppercut, I get 9 damage and all that fun stuff. It's even more than that. So, and plus she can also play a life wall build, but I don't know how well she can play it. But she has some really relevant symbols, and she's a 7-hander. So, but I love you, Tim. It's okay. You can bully me all the time. It's fine.
And I mean, she's putting -1 damage on all of your opponent's attacks, right? Like
Yeah, and we were just
so-
talking about Tokiyami in the 2nd round, how he just puts -1 damage and +1 damage on everything, and she goes -1 +2 for the most part. So
yeah, so she's got 20 health, but really like every attack you hit, like or get hit by, it's really like X +1 because she's putting the -1 on there. So pseudo 20 health.
Yep.
Dave's gonna take what I want. I can feel it. I can feel it in my bones.
The
I'm looking at
energy.
him on my screen. Yeah.
You got the intense stare.
Man,
He
you
just
got.
knows.
I think Andrew's in his own head right now.
I know
Is-
that threat of
pretty
I'm gonna
tilted
take
at
all the
times.
7-handers, and I'm staring at one right now, and I'm like, it's just
Yeah.
not gonna be there.
Yeah.
There's only so many left at this point.
There's a couple good ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's gonna be Aoyama too. I feel it.
I said good ones.
He lost a lot of steam with the amphibious ban. So yeah, Trent's deck was running that, and it basically killed the deck. So
actually, I'm trying to see what 7-handers actually are left.
There's only a handful.
Don't look into it too
They're-
deeply. I don't want to give him any ideas.
I was gonna
No,
say
actually-
I don't want to just yell them out, but
I
see
am actually going
one
to
or
take a
two.
6-hander here, and this is
Okay.
a bit of a meta call. I think,
Asui too.
because no, it's definitely not that.
That's the 7th round.
I'm not willing to like go down that meme rabbit hole that hard.
I mean, it's a bounty deck, so yeah, at least that's in the 7th round. 7th round bounty decks. Here we go.
There's
gonna
too many
take
good characters left.
Pharaoh
Yeah,
too.
you're right. You're right.
0-2.
Yeah.
0-2.
Oh, nice. I
All
like
right.
Pharaoh too.
Yeah.
I think he's cool.
Yeah, I think people might be trying to run him like into what Momo is doing, and like as a targeted. I don't know how well it's going to work out, but like for a 6th round pick, I could see somebody running relatively hot with that deck and like sneak into a top 16 or top 8 potentially. So yeah, I'm not mad at it. Also, like pretty decent symbols. He's on water.
Yeah.
Like has some board control. Has like free stats and card draw and so on and so forth. Like he's definitely not terrible. He's just not super exciting. But
Yeah,
he has a decent matchup in one of the top decks in the meta. So
I fought one this past Sunday at the PPG event, and he was doing some really cool things, but I think he was off of air, and not water, but I think water may be his strongest symbol. So yeah, but I think if the right pilot plays him and he gets the right matchups, I for sure think he can probably top.
Yeah. For a 6th round pick, I'll take that. I'll take
for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the air
Upside
build
there.
gets to play Airstream Driver really well, right? Like, it's just like
Yeah.
you play the punch.
But that's kind of like the opposite, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Right.
don't. Yeah, I'd probably be running him off of water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want one- yeah.
I like him as an order deck.
Yeah.
I was gonna
I
say
like-
he
I
gets
like
to run
fast
indiscriminate
1.3s.
really well too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
need a
shocks
character to
real
just
hard.
get to tap foundations and do that stuff. Yeah.
Hmm.
He shocks hard,
Alright.
bro. He shocks
Mhm.
hard.
He
So,
All right,
Oh.
Andrew, did your pick get stolen this time? Is
so
it still
actually,
there?
Sero 2 was the character last round when I was saying hyped up by content creators. I feel like we talked about it. I've heard like
Yeah.
the Unfun guys talk about it and stuff. The
Okay.
only thing that made me nervous about Sero 2 was the idea of a water or order deck playing a different main character, like Forthkind playing on the order symbol, then becoming Sero 2 into Momo. And if we're
Yeah.
doing that, they have to be your main deck character. That's
Yeah.
what made me nervous about it. Was like
Okay.
he's gonna be like my sideboard answer to Momo or something.
Mm.
My pick here is I have a lot of characters that I just kind of want to like sling stuff at the wall and see what sticks.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Like if we went for so I'm gonna go with Shoto 1.
All right.
Nice pick.
7-hander with a pretty strong enhance ability who has like inevitability in the late game and has 2 very strong symbols with chaos and water. And then has the fire build that got like 17th or 18th place at the last provisional.
Mhm.
That just wants to go into a long game with you and then just play 4 or 5 attacks and all of them are for your life total, right? All of them are for 18. So
Yep.
I think he's good. I think he gets to play really good defense on chaos and water, and the fire build can survive long enough to do what it wants to do. So I'll take Shoto 1 here.
Okay.
I like it. I mean, he's
Shoto
got the
was on my-
negation on his face, right?
Yeah, I mean he's
That's-
got a cancel on his face too, like, right? Like he's
It's never not bad.
yeah.
All right, Ryan. These are your last two picks.
My last 2 picks. Oh boy.
Your last 2 picks.
Oh boy. So you know what? Like this is probably around the time where I would take Midnight if Matt was going to be playing in the event.
Yeah, man.
um,
Don't do it. No.
Well, Matt's not going to be playing, man. So like no
I'm
one
thinking
else is
about
playing this
taking her.
character.
They
Literally
might
no
start.
one plays this character. Yeah, they
I
might.
have to practice her. Yeah.
Yeah,
She's
gotta
really
get
good.
practicing, man.
I think this
Yeah,
character is
she's very
actually
good.
insane, but you have
We
to
talked about
put
chaos, crazy defense.
yeah, you have to put reps in with her. But I don't foresee the meta shifting to her anytime soon. So, so I'm gonna take Uwabami here, which
I like that.
so if I'm not mistaken, she was creeping around the top tables at Gen Con, right? Is that
During the
accurate?
provisionals, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
Hey,
those
we
were
got-
like 100% provision, 100+ person provisionals.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
yeah, and we got a bunch of provisionals coming up. So hey, maybe the train will keep rolling with her a little bit. All she's got to do is get into one, man. Give me those bonus points. That's all I
Mhm.
need.
Yeah, dude. That's a
don't-
lot of bonus points.
I don't need any winners here. I just need people to put an effort in.
Hey, we had a bunch of 7-point bonuses in our test run, so
Yeah.
That's true.
here we go. We're prophets with these 7th round picks.
Mhm. I was gonna say this is.
So play
This-
these decks, people. You want to play
Yeah.
these characters. You're going to top.
Let's say this. Now we've come to the 7th round. I feel like these picks are going to determine the winner because, like we
I
said,
think so.
someone's going to randomly hit a seventh rounder, get those bonus points, and get at least 10 points off this pick. So
Yeah, it is a 4. There are 4 tournaments, so this is going to be a relatively smaller portion of your points total than it was
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
in
true.
the 2 tournaments.
true.
But it is chunky. Yeah.
mhm.
I think there's a pretty. Is there only one like 7-hander actually left?
No, there's 2.
There's a couple.
There's 2. I think
There's at least
Kuragiri is
2.
actually a pretty solid character.
It was the 3rd one. Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I think I was going to take Kuragiri. I think he's still like a pretty solid character. He does kind of what President Mike does, but he gets to do it every turn. Obviously, he doesn't just eat the attack. He gives them something back, but he gives them their categorically worst attack in the situation. So
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Momo has to give up that home run common, and it's now a bow staff. Thanks.
Yep.
yeah. So yeah,
We haven't won the regional with the bow staff loaded up with quick creations, but that's whatever.
that's hilarious.
So
But yeah,
Pretty funny.
Kuragiri, bring it home, baby. Give me
All
7
right,
points.
Kuragiri. All right, Andrew.
I'm between a couple of 6-hand size 29 health characters. I got 2 of them
Ooh,
on my list
spicy.
here.
Yeah, I have one
I
on
got-
my list. Yeah.
I have 2 of them, and
Okay, how the other one?
I'm gonna go with Sato.
There we go. We are drafting Nicholas Reagan for the California for the events that he's going to be at probably all 4 of them.
Yeah, I also, so when I played at Gen Con, obviously this is a bit revisionist, right? Because if you knew your matchups going into any event, you would know what deck to play.
Right.
But I had Sato in the sideboard of my fourth kind deck, and I played 5 rounds. I went 2, 1, and 2, and then dropped thinking X1-2 couldn't make top cut. I was wrong. But I played 5 games of fourth kind, and I played 10 games of Sato because every single game I wanted to be Sato.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And so I just really like the character.
He's good.
Yeah, my other 629 I think was a way more off the wall pick that I would be shocked if he gets registered more than 4 times in all 4 events. So
Shoji.
no, it was Ojiro 1.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
Alright.
so
Yeah,
that was my
yeah.
other 629 I was between was Ojiro
Gotcha.
1 and Sato, and I just went with the character who got 9th place at
Actually,
at
as
Toronto.
results.
Yeah. He made tops at the Omaha. I want to play. He was
Yeah, and
made
he
top cuts
so
there.
like Nick Reagan top 8'd one of the Gen Con provisionals. He got 9th at Toronto, right? He was in the bubble at Toronto. Um
I think it was
it's just
10th. 9th was Ochako.
9th or 10th, yeah, 10th, yeah, because 9th was
Dave Thomas.
Dave Thomas. So, but yeah, I think he's just a good character. He draws a lot of cards. We talk about Blood Curdle, right? The last time we did this, I called this the
Yep.
Blood Curdle portion of my bracket.
Yep.
And he plays that card really well because he sees 2 extra cards per turn, or per 4
And he
extra
can throw
cards
it
per
away
turn
when it's
cycle.
bad. He can actually
Yeah.
main deck 3 of them and not feel bad about it.
Yeah,
at
not
all.
feel bad
Yeah.
about it. So.
That's pretty good.
But putting stun on attacks seems
Yeah, putting
seems
stun
good.
one is
Yep.
incidentally is fine, right?
Yep.
It's good.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, we're here in the 7th round. We're like 30 some odd characters deep, and these are all like reasonable characters, right? These are largely, for the most part, I'm sure Birch would complain about some of these, but these are probably all on Birch's like characters I would consider list, right?
Yeah.
They talked it out.
All right, Dave. What are we thinking?
Man. Okay.
You brought your spiciest pick exactly halfway through the
No.
draft.
I feel
Halfway
like
through the
I
draft.
probably could have waited and picked.
Probably
something
could have
like
waited.
this.
You could have
No,
easily
it was
could've picked him in
perfect.
7th.
It was perfectly placed.
I had to get my boy, man. No.
Dude, we got like 20 minutes of content out of that one pick. It was sick.
Yeah. We're still talking about it.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
I'm here for the team, guys. I'm here.
I mean,
for
we're
the team.
gonna it's infinite content because we're never gonna not talk about it at some
Yeah,
point, right?
exactly.
You're either gonna, you either blew us away, or we're gonna bring it up the next time we do this. Like, hey, you remember the last time in the 4th round when you took Present Mic too? So
Yeah.
No regrets at all.
yeah,
So, we are definitely scraping at this point.
I don't feel like we are.
I wouldn't say scraping. It's
I have
more
a few
along
more
the
rounds
lines
I
of,
could
like,
go. We're not gonna,
Yeah.
but I have a few more rounds.
Yeah,
I
right,
can
go.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised Sato went like as long as he did because you
Yeah.
guys were talking about. I think it was Tim when you took All Might 2. I thought you were talking about Sato.
Yeah, I've been thinking about Sato for a few rounds now. But
Yeah. I kind of overlooked him, I'll be honest. That's a good pick, though. I like him.
Yeah.
I am going to take another character that can run Blood Curdle. I'm going to take Shinso here.
Yep.
Good.
I like
Okay, you
it.
didn't take my pick. Sick. Okay, cool. I get my guy. Cool. I get my last one. Okay. Shinso's fun. I've played him a lot. He's actually he's actually pretty good. You just got to put
Yeah.
time into him. So I think that's what I came away with. Because there's a deck profile on the on YouTube, on our web channel page.
Nice.
Universes Academy on
And
YouTube.
Universes Academy YouTube. I did
Chris.
that profile.
Are you about to take an Eda Clan member here?
No, I'm not. I thought Dave was just gonna double up on the Tape Man and take Sarah
Oh,
1. I'm
Sarah
taking
2, Sarah
I'm
1 back-to-back picks.
I'm taking Sarah 1 because that character is still really good. Even though he hasn't had any showings lately, I think this character is largely a character I don't want to sit across from because one, I don't want to play against Tape Swing because I play the good symbol and I have no throw hate. But he can also just randomly giant bite detention you to death, and you have no way to stop it because he gets to peep your hand and say you don't get to block anymore on that zone, and you just die to all lows, all highs, whatever. So I don't know how his Momo matchup is because everyone's Momo matchup is kind of whatever. We just throw cards in the air and see where they land, right? So
He gets to play Blood Curdle though, so
he can play Blood Curdle, yes. So I guess this is the Blood Curdle portion of my bracket.
That's just my
right,
go-to
Tim.
response to the Momo pick.
Mr.
It's like,
I'm
can they
gonna-
play
Is irrelevant.
can they play Blood Curdle?
Yeah, I'm gonna take what I think is one of the better Blood Curdle characters that is still hanging around. Probably like second or third best after Sato and somebody else. I'm gonna go ahead and take Ida 2.
Yeah,
I've seen Ida 2 body a Momo.
Mhm.
It is a thing that he can do. He puts a lot of speed on his one poke a turn and make Momo use resources. And when you actually want to go for the kill, you have Blood Curler. You can shed it with his filter. You have you have damage reduction if they're speed boosting. He really has a lot going for him. I think he's one of the characters that can play the order symbol with a reasonably straight face. I think you'd probably rather be Sato at the end of the day, but he is a character that you could try to run on order and could probably do some things for you.
I like it. Ida2 is another one of those characters where I think people memed a bunch when Ida2 was first shown, when the first DLC was like, oh my god, this guy's terrible. And then I was like, oh yeah, he sucks. And then I kind of like started thinking about it. I was like, well, does he though?
Those things
Like,
never had any basis. He's a 7 hand size that, I mean, people are going nuts over this new stain that gives
Yeah.
speed once a turn and clears the pool. This guy gives speed once a turn and filters on
mhm.
both turns, and can
And has-
sometimes can
He's good.
give damage to moves and can take damage away from moves
I was
sometimes.
gonna say he has
Yeah.
damage. Is his enhanced once per turn? I honestly can't remember.
No,
off the
his
top of my
enhance
head.
is
But
not
it's
once
just
per
every
turn.
enhance. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
exactly.
each time you meet the requirement. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's actually really good. Talking about 7-handers with low health that aren't really their low health, like
Yeah.
he's only got 19 health, but unless you're pumping speed, then he's got +2 health on every attack, right?
I'm happy to contribute to Mineta 2 going undrafted. He's gonna make one of
Yes.
these top cuts, and we're just
Yeah.
all
That
gonna
is
feel
really funny,
stupid.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was definitely in my 7th round list as well, but I was like trying to go for something more exciting.
I thought about taking Mina, but I figure Ida 2 is a character people might start working on with an eye towards trying to fight into Momo and Kirishima with their questionable speed game. Well, Kirishima's questionable speed game and Momo's crazy speed game that you need to fight against somehow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's a handful though that I still like would have taken that I
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
uh,
Looking at
Like
Mina,
Midnight.
I've still got
Midnight's
Midnight
one,
one. I'm not
Inge-
gonna
yeah,
take
I'm kind of surprised
Ingenium.
Midnight
Ingenium,
didn't get
yeah.
go.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's some
We
picks
could
still out
easily have
there,
gone
for sure.
8 or 9 rounds, I guess. Easily
Mhm.
8 or 9 rounds, but
Easily.
we're
That's
already
the fun of it. That's the fun
yeah.
of it, right?
Yeah, it's the fun
Yeah.
of it. Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm
Let me
pretty
see.
excited to
Min-
see how we come back when set 3 drops and see how this deck gets reshuffled, basically.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I do hope when set 3 comes out. So the top 3 have been the same both times we've done this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It has been the
Yeah.
same 3 characters in the exact same order.
That's funny. Yeah.
Different
Eh.
people, but the same characters. And then I believe like 4, 5, 4 through 8 all were the same. Like it just is shuffled about of it. Maybe Ochako 2 was a little bit later.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a so we kind of like stayed the Ochako 2 was a little bit later. So
Yeah.
we kind of stayed the course, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
we're gonna shake things
4
up.
out of the first 5 picks were the same. Jiro was still in the first round last time. She was just 5th instead of 4th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was a dummy and took Bird instead, but it paid off.
I don't think you're a dummy. It was a reasonable pick.
So
But yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for the first official real Andrew fantasy draft, fantasy league.
The real one.
The disrespect will never be forgotten nor forgiven.
Wow.
But
I'll
Gotcha.
buy you a hat or something, John, that
But-
says first fake fantasy draft winner.
Yes.
why would I need to wear a hat, Andrew? Is there something wrong with being bald?
I just-
Oh.
I
I'm
think I
wearing a
like
hat.
Andrew's team the best.
Do you? Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
I
that's
think if I had to pick
a lot
a
of.
team. Chat, viewers should comment and tell us what team they think.
Hold
I
on,
like Tim's
John.
team, but I also said
Let me-
Tim was in my brain the whole draft. So
Yeah.
Let me
yeah.
put the
I'm
let me
ready
put the
to
teams
get
up on screen.
Absolutely dumpstered in the comments here.
No,
I
I
Kirishima too. That's fine. But I mean, I guess the present mic too thing. But nah, that's
reserved for me,
that's-
dog. I'm the dumpster.
Hey, I need a deck for locals tomorrow. I'll put present Mike 2 on my mean and see what happens.
look. If you don't think I'm logging out of this call and putting together a present mic 2 deck after we've been talking about
Listen,
it, I've
we're
been.
still talking about it. That's
I
all
know.
I'm saying.
Look, man, it is.
this is the content click, right?
Farm me
Yeah.
for content, boys.
I
Farm me
honestly
for
think the
content.
present mic 2 needs to be on the thumbnail for it. I
Yeah,
really
like-
do. Where does he land? Have like Ryan going,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect.
So-
Perfect.
I have all the teams on the screen for people to look at now for the viewers.
Okay.
So
Cool.
yeah, get in the comments. Let us know who has the dumpster fire team, who is the favorites, and what was your favorite pick of the draft, and why was it present Mike too? Just let us know.
Give us those comments.
Exactly.
Let's go.
And
Bring it
as
home,
we
people. Bring it home.
exactly. As the events happen, we will update the points, and we'll make sure that every week we'll put out a little blast and let everyone know like what the standings are, what they look like, and how things are going in the fantasy league.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
going to be on our podcast each week. We're going to have a segment.
Yeah,
just like a brief 2-minute update, right?
Yeah.
We also hyped up the bounties, and no one took a bounty character. That's
Nobody took a bounty.
disappointing.
There weren't
No.
enough rounds.
That's
Yeah,
true.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
maybe
that's
if we had like 9 or 10 rounds.
9 rounds.
Maybe.
The bounties were the 9th round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The-
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The bounty characters
gonna
are bounty
say,
characters for a reason, to be fair.
we need to make a bounty for President Mike too. After we talked about him so much.
One of those bounties seems. There's like a bounty for Ingenium, and I was like, that one seems free.
Oh,
like, if you-
whoa.
Is
I don't
it
think it was.
really?
Yeah.
Jenny,
I don't
it's
think
not,
it was
it's
money.
not live for this event because he's judging the event. But after this event, if you play Ingenium and you top cut, he'll give you something. And if you play Ingenium and play his list and top cut, he'll give you more.
Oh, yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh hell no, I'm playing
Spicy.
that list.
But yeah, there's like an Ingenium bounty, and I was like, that's a crazy one. The other ones like
Yeah.
Asui 2, Bird 2,
Tokuyami 2.
Kirishima 1. I'm like, okay, I can see putting those out there, but the Ingenium one was wild. So, but
That's crazy.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's pretty funny.
but it was a lot of fun, guys. I appreciate you guys
Yeah.
having me on.
Yeah, it was really fun.
man.
Coming on,
definitely.
everyone.
That was great.
This has been
Appreciate it.
fantastic.
Yeah, everyone taking time out of the day to get in here and joke around with us and hang out and help us make our content, guys. You made this a lot easier for us, man. We just have to do this all the time. Just
Why do you
gonna,
think I do? Why do you think I do take 10? I get my guests on. They do all the work. It's fun.
Exactly.
I still have to check out Rob's fantasy team.
Oh, you have to, because he
Yeah.
also put a comment that he misnomered.
Right,
He
yeah.
wanted
Yeah,
Mina
he
as
told
second
me.
base, not Asui. So, yeah.
Gotcha.
Perfect
Anywho.
name.
Well, we appreciate it, guys. Thanks for listening. And as Matt would say, do all the algorithm things: subscribe, like, comment, whatever.
Yep.
Tell your friends, even if they don't play the game, just hey, subscribe. It's cool.
Yep.
Have a great week,
Check out-
guys.
Check out Tim's
Oh,
YouTube channel and check
Yes,
out
I was gonna
Andrew's
say,
YouTube
We will
channel.
also
Yeah.
link
Yeah.
Tim's and Andrew's channels and stuff in the description of this. We've told you guys before, if you're listening to us and you haven't already started subscribing to Andrew and Tim, what are you doing, guys?
Yeah, please.
What are you doing?
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Last thing, subscribe to them.
There
Have a
you
great
go.
week.
Bye, everyone.
Later.
Just in time.